jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, once again, you're tuned in to WCS. Salute to everyone on this Thursday. You know what it is. As I always say, one day closer to the weekend, baby. That's what it's all about. Getting close to the weekend. What if a week was goddamn 14 days? You know what I'm saying? What if one work week had different days attached to it? It was like 14 days in a week. You know what I'm saying? The calendar was shorter somehow, some way, but it was 14 days in a week or whatever. It's amazing how we live in simulation, right? And we stick to it. You know what I'm saying? People, we live off the clock. Everything is about time. We got some hot topics, of course. You know what I'm saying? We got to address the situation that's going on with Ryan Garcia because I pretty much said it. I said it for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? We're going to address the topics going on with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Also, I want to start this off by getting this out the way. No, I'll save it to last. Okay. Everyone who knows, man, when I was at the press conference, you know, I'm the one that deemed Gervonta Davis El Chin Checker. You know what I'm saying? And just because he's El Chin Checker, Ryan Garcia and a lot of other fighters are calling for Gervonta Davis. I feel that Gervonta slowly is just changing the game, man. He's changed the game of boxing because he doesn't have a lot that he can attribute to his credentials besides championships in the division. Like, he's not stacking championships on his mantle. And that's the wild part about it, that he's still able to get this recognition the way he does without collecting titles. Now, he's not without a title, but he's not collecting titles like that. Like his progress in the sport, no one was saying, Gervonta, he gotta fight Kambosos. You know how strange that was? He gotta fight Kambosos in order for him to be considered this, that, and the other. You know, when the Fab Five came about, you know, when they was trying to identify who's the top lightweight and Gervonta was just sitting in the rear, he wasn't even sweating that shit, man. It's almost like Gervonta was over here on his own island, right? And Catch knew he was on his own island in the lightweight division. But when the conversation came about all these titles and shit, it was Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, shit like that. Gervonta Davis wasn't worried about that. Just like he's not worried about Ryan Garcia believing that he don't understand the structure on how it's built. But let me get to the dang chat. Those of you that's in the building, salute to you. Alexander on deck. What's good? He said we on deck with it. What up, WCS? What's good, Alexander? Salute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 14 days will be crucial, man. I'm just saying, everything's based off numbers, right? So we'll get back to that later. But when Gervonta Davis was in the mix with all these names at lightweight, and they was trying to figure out Who's going to get another shot at all these titles when Teofimo Lopez had them. And then all of a sudden, Teofimo chose not to face Devin. He wanted to go the IBF route and face George Kambosos. You say to yourself, where was Gervonta Davis? Gervonta's over here chilling, doing what Gervonta does, man. He wasn't even worried about these belts, right? He's attached to a man who is a part of history, one of the highest grossing athletes ever, right? That's Floyd Money Mayweather, right? So now Ryan Garcia is trying to take a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book. Ryan Garcia is trying to take a page out of Gervonta Davis' book. He is. Now Ryan Garcia is saying that belts, he can't feed his kids belts. He's trying to take the words out of Mike Tyson's expression that he can't feed his kids belts. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to insinuate as if Mike Tyson was in the same position as Gervonta Davis. He's all over the place, but he's trying to attach himself to big names who didn't care about belts all of a sudden. Mike Tyson didn't care about belts until after he had them. As we grew up, we mature and all this other stuff, right? Mike Tyson, he felt some type of way after he earned the belts. He didn't make history just from beating people up. That was part of it. It came with winning championship, right? So therefore, Ryan Garcia is trying to take this approach with Gervonta Davis and make it seem like it's all about legacy. Which, if he fights Gervonta Davis, it is. It is about legacy. The wild part of it is that somehow, some way, him making right with Rolly Romero, who's attached to the TMT gym, who basically was able to get in there with Gervonta Davis before Ryan Garcia, who had the courage and the cojones to step in there with with Gervonta Davis. I see Rolly Romero as somewhat surpassed Ryan Garcia when it comes to resumes. Seriously, because he had Davis on his resume. Even though he was stopped, he did in the ring with him. Because look, we can't say that WCS don't know what he's talking about, because when it comes down to how they parade Danny Garcia and Sean Porter around and say they was this, that, and the other, but when they got in with good fighters, what happened? They didn't win, but yet they still are praised for having that name on their resume. All I'm saying with has now stepped in there while Ryan Garcia was up here capping, ducking, and doing everything else. Like I said before, the lightweight division passed him by. Now he's hitchhiking. He's hitchhiking right now, trying to catch back up. He's desperately hitchhiking. Somebody, look, a lot that went on with Ryan Garcia that has him feeling some type of way that he needs to get back to the front of the line when everybody was talking about him. You had the situation with Canelo Alvarez, him leaving the Eddie Reynoso camp when there was Canelo Alvarez, Oscar Valdez, and a plethora of other people. Ryan Garcia took the most heat when he left because they say he was dedicated. And that might have been true if he was dipping and dabbling in Hollywood and boxing at the same time. The bad thing about that is that Ryan Garcia has not established his name in the sport of boxing like that yet, to be dabbling in Hollywood and making it seem like I can pick and choose. If you want to come up to 140, come up there and face me at 140. You don't have that prestige like that yet, especially with a fighter who his promoter has accomplished what he's accomplished in boxing. It's no way we're going to sit up here and think you're going to have that leverage, bro. Somebody reach out there and grab hold of Ryan Garcia, because listen, For some apparent reason, he believes that him telling Gervonta Davis to come up to 140, that Floyd would have allowed that shit to happen. I said this already. I say, bro, what is going on with this kid? He don't understand what the arrangement is, what the structure is, what the protocol is. You ain't calling the shots, bro. You are not calling the shots, Ryan. You got to face this man at 135. You are not calling the shots when it comes to Davis and Mayweather. You might as well get that. Goddamn Oscar De La Hoya could have told you that shit. He was just in a different position when he was able to call the shots with Floyd. That's a long time ago. You're not Oscar, bro. You're not Oscar. Like I said before, you need to take more time to establish the direction which you're driving in one lane, have some success in that lane to whatever destination you're trying to accomplish. Build up some credentials, build up your portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Build up your grading system. Because right now you're just all over the place while everybody else is leaving you behind. Devin's done left you clean smack behind. Teofimo left you clean smack behind. You know what I'm saying? Clean smack all the way back. Kambosos left you behind. Lomachenko's been in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko's been up there. You know what I'm saying? He's a 3-weight champion. He been up there. He's been on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? All names. Even Gervonta Davis. You was never on his level to begin with, but yet it's almost like you're trying to establish a rivalry at 135 because Gervonta has committed to stand there. But you're forgetting that one crucial attachment when it comes to Gervonta Davis. Ryan, tell me what that is. Gervonta Davis arrangement is different than yours. It's different, bro. You can get out here and argue with Leonard Ellaby in public in front of the camera and say, oh, man, Golden Boy stopping this, man. Fuck them. I'm going to make the fight happen all by my lonesome. No, you can't. You was just up there trying to be somebody that you're not. You was trying to be a boss, and Leonard was looking at you and listening and say, man, this kid, he obviously don't know, man. Like, this kid don't know how shit works. Boxing. He's trying to expedite what he fucked up. He's trying to expedite. And look, and Leonard was on record as saying, man, they don't want the fight, man. We try to communicate with them. They don't want the fight. And then there was one point in time where he might have been in the good graces of Tank. Tank said, he was asked about, who he wanted to fight. He's like, shit, Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had no problem. He said he has the followers and everything else. He has no problem, man. But Ryan went on this tirade of the Duck Masters Coalition, and he was just out here just doing rambunctious, reckless type shit with his lips. He was calling fighters out and then abort mission. On deck, what's good with it? So now he has to figure it out when it comes down to it, right? He has to figure out why he's at the back of the line. A lot of people are looking at Ryan as like 6 or 7. He's at the back door of the top 5, like 6. You know who's sitting in number 5? Like I said, you had Pitbull himself get the shot. You know what I'm saying? You had Isak Cruz get the shot before you, Ryan. He has Gervonta Davis on his resume as a UD loss. And then you get Rolly Romero, somebody who you wasn't fond of. That wasn't your friend. It wasn't no respect there. He stepped in there with Gervonta Davis. They have them on their resume. I mean, Rolly Romero has Gervonta on his resume. But you're fighting Emmanuel Tago. You thought fighting Luke Campbell, man, that shit came and talk about it. And some of us are blending that fight the same as Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell and Javier Fortuna are somewhat the same. Real talk. If you look at both of those fights, real talk, there's questions. But you're desperately seeking Davis, not Susan, Davis. You're desperately seeking Davis. You are absolutely drawn in to get Gervonta Davis, bro. Because you need a name. You know you can't get Devin. You fucked him over. You know, when you was his mandatory, you say, fuck it, talk to my attorneys. I ain't, no, I ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else that you ducked. Now you find the lone survivor that you feel that has an open door, right? Because he's coming off knocking out your new best friend, Rolly Romero. You want to go over there and say, I need Gervonta by all means necessary. I need Gervonta. And that's all he's doing. But Ryan Garcia, you have to understand one thing about this game, bro. You went on a Legends podcast. You went on a Legends podcast with a black bow tie, slacks, and a white shirt. You took that opportunity to make it seem like that you really was calling for that Gervonta Davis smoke. You went up there and said, if you don't take this fight, your legacy is forever tainted. Not only that, Gervonta Davis was on the phone and y'all went back and forth and everything. And you talking about how pretty you looked and all that. Sometimes your actions, you know, you may not be punished for them, so to speak, like directly, where you have to serve out a punishment, but the public can punish you too. In boxing, the public can punish you, Garcia, because they felt what you did when you went on hot boxing. You made yourself absolutely look foolish because you end up being the one pulling out for the fight. So now, is your legacy forever tainted? If you consolidate everything that's went on with what you've been a part of, leaving Eddie Reynoso's camp, Canelo Alvarez saying you're not focused and taking it serious, you know, going on Mike Tyson's podcast, you know, calling Gervonta out, talking about you want Gervonta Davis. It's just too much shit. Pulling out of the fight and saying you got bigger fight with Manny Pacquiao, not taking the fight with Devin Haney. I mean, it's just too much out there, bro. Like you collected a lot of trash in a short period of time. And now you're trying to clean that shit up. And it may not be as easy for you because if you can't make 135, a weight that you're trying to claim that's a bit much for you to make, and you're not going to be your strongest, well, guess what? Welcome to where you're trying to be. Welcome to where the shot callers are showing you what it is when you're trying to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to go off making videos and social media. Welcome to real life when it comes to boxing business. Floyd is no way, shape, or form going to allow you to dictate the terms just to prove a point. There's nothing they have to prove with you, Ryan. They don't mind taking a fight with you, but they're not going to take it at 140 just to prove to you they can beat you at 140. You don't have anything to offer at 140 besides a body. And you know what? Tank has bodies already on this record, Ryan. So you need to figure that out, shawty. I don't want you out here just saying, oh, fuck it. I'm leaving boxing. I'm just leaving boxing. No, I don't want you to give it all up and throw it away. What I want you to do is hire a nutritionist and get your ass down to 135 and make this fight. Seriously, make the fight at 135. Sacrifice, like Floyd said, sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And stop acting like a baby, man. So let me get to this article right quick. Where is it? So, in Boxing News 24, right, there's an article out there. Floyd Mayweather says the promoter, Floyd Mayweather Jr., flat out rejected Ryan Garcia's request for the fight against Gervonta Davis to be held at 140. That's a no-brainer, right? I said that. I said, man, this shit is not going to work out the way you think just because you want it. In an interview on Wednesday, Floyd said that if Ryan 23 and 19 KOs wants to fight with Tank Davis, he's got to be ready to make sacrifices. They're going to them words again. Sacrifices by dropping down in weight to face him at 135. Would have said he's ready to make the Davis Garcia fight in the next 90 days as long as they agree on it taking place at 135. Floyd pointed out that Gervonta is a side in the negotiations, not the other way around, with Ryan Garcia holding the power position. We know that. Mayweather reminded the fans that Ryan has never won a title, and his WBC interim lightweight belt that he won against Luke Campbell doesn't count. Hold on for a second, y'all. He said it doesn't count. Ryan 23 has never won a real title, just a trinket strap for his win Campbell. Incidentally, that fight was the last time that Ryan fought at 135 as he moved up to 140 afterwards and has fought his last two fights in that division. So if you feel like you beat Tank and you the better fighter, then guess what? Make sacrifices, said Floyd Mayweather in the fight hype. What Ryan Garcia must do to Tank fight. You just fought at 135 in January 2021 against Luke Campbell. We can fight in 90 days if you want to. Whatever you want to do. Ain't going to get smoked, said Mayweather. The fight has got to be at 135. Mayweather continued about his conditions to make the Gervonta versus Ryan contest. We can make the fight happen, but the fight is going to happen at 135. And that's what we've been saying. You know what I'm saying? That's what me and a surplus of other people have been saying about this when it comes to Mayweather Promotions. The fight has to be made at 135, period. Shout out to Senior on deck, man. Salute to you. Ryan has Rolly 2Ps in the pod. Yeah, Ryan doesn't have that much, but just running his mouth, man. And look, for him to believe that a on the ground of things, when it comes to Floyd Mayweather doing business, he must have had his hand over eye method going on. He must didn't want to see. Because it's certain things you just don't do when you understand the history of what someone has been able to accomplish boxing like Floyd Mayweather. You had to understand that you even come close to being the A side. You wasn't going to be at the front, like at the front side of negotiations. You would never have the leverage against anything dealing with Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what you think about his fighter, I think people are now awakening and understanding that if Floyd is attached to Gervonta Davis, even when it comes to Devin and them, the negotiations are never going to be easy, especially if Gervonta continue to win. And he may continue to win with what he has until those belts come around and Floyd feels this is the perfect time for us to make this fight for unification, undisputed, or just a championship. We don't know. But Ryan has to understand it's a plethora of information out there that he could have accessed, that someone could have spoken to him about. You know what I'm saying? Just really sat down and say, man, You can attempt to go out here and make a name for yourself and be all boisterous in front of the camera and do some, you know what I'm saying, clout chasing type shit. But is it really going to matter when it comes down to Tank Floyd? No, it's not going to matter. All that shit you did at the Tank and Rolly fight just made you look crazy. It made you look crazy. You know why? Because your shit is still tainted from going on Mike Tyson podcast talking about Gervonta Davis, you don't take this fight with me, and then you pull out. Nah, bro. It's not gonna be that easy. It's not gonna be that easy, bro. It's not gonna be that easy. But man, let me move on to the next. Let me move on to the next, bro. I have to speak about the one and only DSG. All right. Danny Garcia is picking unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. to defeat WBO belt holder Terrence Bud Crawford when the two are expected to fight later this year. It goes on to say the former two-division world champion Danny Garcia, 36-3 knockouts, shared the ring with Spence in his last fight in December 2020, losing a 12-round unanimous decision by scoring 117-111, 116-112, and 112. Now let me pause right quick, right? Okay. DSG, though he is one of the coolest cats in the game, this is not about how cool you are, but understanding the path for which you chose in your career, right? We all understand why you picking Errol Spence, because Errol Spence is originally from Long Island. So you're pretty much showing favoritism like a lot of boxers do. And especially if we highlight one anchoring point, right? One anchoring point that you haven't been able to accomplish is stepping into the ring with Bud Crawford. You haven't did that yet. On a professional level, you haven't been able to do that. He doesn't have your head on his mantle like he has others. You know what I'm saying? So Danny, you coming up here saying that you feel that Terrence Crawford is gonna defeat. Okay, cool. You have to. You know, you're gonna support your hometown guy. And check this out. He goes on to say in the beginning it was 50-50. But now for some reason, I'm leaning more towards Spence, said Danny Garcia, the fight hype, predicting Errol Spence will defeat Crawford. I feel like he's going to be too strong. Now listen to this, people. This is Danny Garcia. I feel like he's going to be too strong. And his work rate, said Danny, about why he's picking Spence over Crawford. So let's do some here, right? Danny Garcia lost to Keith Thurman. He lost his belt. Then he provides the opportunity. He was provided the opportunity to step in there with Sean Porter for the vacant. Lost. Then Sean Porter will go on to lose to Errol Spence, has his belt taken too. So you know how that plays out, right? And then he would have the opportunity, a friend, to step in there with Errol Spence on his first fight back from his accident, right? So you notice the names I said: Thurman, right? Porter, Spence. There's no Crawford in there. There's no Crawford in there. So therefore, if Danny has lost to the top tier names in the welterweight division, why wouldn't he say that we'll put it out there that Errol Spence is going to be too strong? How do you even know how to gauge if Errol Spence is going to be too strong if you have fought other opponents outside the name of that WBO Mad Dog? You've never been in the ring with him, and you have lost to the big names. And your only reason for supporting Spence the way you do is because he's originally from Long Island. So you're going to stick to your hometown fighter and show that love, though. That's all that is, Danny. Nobody can take you serious because you went in there and got your ass beat by Errol Spence Jr. You got your ass beat. And you didn't even have to allow it to go that way. You had experience. You know what I'm saying? You had more experience than Errol Spence. You was a champion at another weight class. You moved up to 47 and fought for the belt. I mean, at one point in time, come on, man, your resume speaks for itself. Resume supersedes that of Errol Spence, hands down. Danny Garcia's resume supersedes that of Errol Spence, and he goes in there and damn near gets slaughtered by Spence. So now he's talking about Spence is too strong for Crawford. Look, the shit these people say about too strong, these cats don't believe it. They don't believe it, y'all. They just putting some out here in the media, and it's not even clout chasing. It's really like phasing. You know what I'm saying? Clout phasing. It's phases that we go through with clout. And people obtain clout any way they feel like it. So long as these media people, these outlets are reaching out to them, they're gonna put some bullshit out there just so people can tune in. Look at the title to this: Errol Spence, too strong for Crawford, says Danny Garcia. That's gonna have people commenting and people like myself reading and making my own comments. You know what I'm saying? How can you say when you was dominated? Let me read these scorecards off again for you, Danny Garcia. 111, 111, 116, 112, and 116, 112, bro. You lost again to a big name. And this and whoever's writing this article, let me go up here and see. Chris Williams, of course. He's not that bad, but he goes on to say this. We haven't seen Crawford in a dogfight against a puncher that consistently checks his shit. We haven't seen Crawford in a dogfight against a puncher that consistently check his chin. We did see Crawford get dropped. See, this is where I'm telling you the facade comes into play. That's why I'm about to start writing articles back myself, because if these dudes out here writing articles saying what the hell they want to say, I'm like, come on, bro. That's what I was totally against. I remember when I was writing articles for this mag and I was writing some shit that was clear. Like, really, I was holding my integrity and say, look, nobody's going to read your articles because, you're trying to walk a tightrope. Stay on. They want to see a little bit of spice in there and this, that. And I said, what do you mean? Just explain. Let me grab my coffee. What, sir, what do you mean exactly? You got to put some spice in there. You got to, put some hezzy, and then shoot the J. I say, so I need to put some excitement in it to the point where I need to create something that is going to attention that might be far off the topic that I'm writing on. Yeah. Pretty much. So what you saying, you want me to exacerbate certain points and kind of fool the readers a little bit. This, that, and the other, kind of, what's that word I'm looking for? DC. Yeah. That right there. I said, oh, okay, I got it. So when this dude right here said, we did see Crawford get dropped Kavalauskas in 2019, and he was marked up by Kell Brook in 2020. See, when I hear this shit, right, and then I show y'all the box rec, the only person that's notated at the bottom of the box rec that was dropped was Igis Kavalauskas. But people still run with the narrative that Crawford was dropped. But yet, it wasn't recorded as a knockdown. But anyway, moving on. For the most part, Crawford has old guys. Listen, y'all. For the most part, Crawford has fought old guys since moving up to the welterweight in 2020. This guy's just leaving words out and shit like that. It's all good. Because I'm going to leave words out too. You know what I'm saying? And he's yet to fight his first opponent. Listen to what this guy say. For the most part, has fought old guys since moving up to welterweight in 2020, and he's yet to fight his first quality opponent. So what does that say about Spence opponents? This dude said Kell Brook wasn't a quality opponent. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter wasn't a quality opponent. And it all comes back to what I'm saying about this whole halo, this entire halo that I speak about when it comes to Crawford. He makes it look a certain way, so the value of respect in the eyes of his naysayers. They want this man, just like he said, what this guy just say? This is consistent and in line with what I'm telling y'all. He said, Crawford, we haven't seen Crawford a dog fight against a puncher. Well, guess what? This is boxing. This is boxing, man. They were in there punching. They was fighting. They was boxing. Just because he makes it look a certain way, or when he flips on the mad dog switch and he throws his offensive strategy out the window and it doesn't work well for his opposition, what do you want him to do? Seriously, I mean, what do you want the guy to do? You want him to give you that Timothy Bradley, Provodnikov? Really? Did you hear what Tim Bradley said? He said he had slurred speech several weeks after that fight. Why would somebody want to go in there where they say you can't play boxing? Isn't that what they say? They say you cannot play freaking boxing. But yet you have cats out here complaining and saying that Crawford has fought old guys. So therefore, if his guys, well, guess what? He fought Spence last year, right? I mean, not Spence. He fought Porter last year, and he must have been old when he fought freaking Errol Spence. If you're gonna use that analogy, he fought Porter last year, and not too long before that, Porter was in there with Spence. I don't know what's going on here, because then this same guy, will he say the same about Manny Pacquiao? Tell you, it's an article in here when Manny Pacquiao was about to return off his hiatus, and he was gonna step in with dang Errol Spence. Curious to know. I know there's an article. Find it too. I'm gonna find. I know it's an article I have. I'm curious to see what he said about Manny Pacquiao stepping there with Errol Spence before the fight was called off. And furthermore, I'm curious to see what he said about Manny Pacquiao stepping there with Yadina Ugas, because he's gonna sit up here and say Crawford has fought old guys since moving up to welterweight. Man, this is hilarious, man. The only thing he can't do is get caught, because if he gets caught a little bit, just a little bit, he'll be shaky, said Danny about Spence. Check this out. This is the guy quoting something Danny said. He didn't even put, when you mention, look, first of all, in format of writing, once you say the person's full name on the first half of the article, you don't have to really say both of their names no more. But really, you should say the last name to keep it formal. This dude said Danny. Okay, anyway, the only thing he can't do is get caught, because if he gets caught a little bit, he'll be shaky. He'll be shaky, y'all. So, when you talk about being shaky from a hitter like Errol Spence, I'm just trying to find out what round when Yadina Ugas was hit that he became shaky even when his eye was swelled up. He was moving around, but I'm saying it was times in there that Errol landed some very solid shots, and Yadina Ugas wasn't shaky. So who's going to compare Yadina Ugas' chin to Terrence Crawford? And who in their right mind is going to say, Ugas, When it comes in comparison to Crawford, he has a better chin. No one. So why are we still having individuals, flying back? You know what I'm saying? They're taking a time machine back and say, excuse me, sir, we're just trying to go back, um, to the fight where, what I'm saying? You know what fight I'm talking about. Terrence Crawford and Yukis Gamboa. Just please take us back to that moment. We just want to be there in real time so we can really get up close. Can you imagine doing that shit? It's going to happen in the future, y'all. You're talking about a guy who deals with communication, whatever. Imagine that shit. Imagine being able to, they have Oculus Rift and all that shit, right? Imagine, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in upcoming years. Going back to a fight as if you're there, but it's virtual, as if you're there and you're able to sit ringside. It don't matter who you are. You're able to sit ringside as if you was at the fight and watch the fight as it take place. And you're able to basically zoom in closer than you would just sitting ringside to see what's actually taking place. So when you have people that talk about how bad Crawford was hurt against Gamboa, if you have the opportunity to sit there and zoom in close to see the punch that Yukis Gamboa landed on Crawford and to check the reaction and everything that goes with it with Crawford, how badly he was hurt, the expression on his face and everything like that, and be able to examine that fight from start to finish until it was shut down. I think it would debunk a lot of this shit, and it's going to change the media game because if they have Oculus Rift that's able to process, virtual frames and things right here and put you in a different type of environment, it's going to be the same for anything. It's going to be the same for anything like boxing and all that shit. So we won't have to read articles like this where people continue to say, "Well, he hasn't been hurt that much, but we always got to go back to Yukis Gamboa. Yup. We always got to go back to Igis Kavalaskis." But then, I put it out there. I say, well, if we want to go back in time, right? And we're trying to figure something out about Terrence Crawford. And you're trying to compare him to having a weak chin. Out of 38 victories and 29 knockouts, you're trying to tell me you're going to basically take those two fights for which he stopped his opponent, and you're going to continue to use them as leverage in determining that Terrence Crawford has a weak chin? That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, I'm going to continue to use this criteria in two fights that people love talking about, but yet God blessed us with what? Selective amnesia. And when you have that blessing from the Most High that you have amnesia, people are going to continue to forget because they choose to, that he stopped both of these fighters. They don't talk about it. Just like this guy didn't talk about it. Anyway, moving on. Just disrespectful. You're just being disrespectful, William. He goes on to say, but other than that, he's going to beat him. Crawford throws the shorter punches. That's why his punches are harder. Spence are a little bit wider. Crawford throws the shorter punches, and that's why they have the effect. Spence throws a little wide. This guy's shit. It's not me now. Spence throws a little wide, but he breaks you down. He's number one. So a lot of guys feed into that. But I look at the styles, say, when asked why so many boxing fans are leaning towards Crawford to defeat Spence. You know what I'm saying? He closed that out by saying it's a lot of boxing fans leaning towards Crawford to defeat Spence. And like I broke it down to you yesterday. It's not just what Terrence Crawford does in the ring, it's how people view him as a fighter outside the ring, just like they Floyd Mayweather. They see Terrence Crawford and how he is his health and welfare outside the ring, his nutritional value, his healthy way of living, his fitness, all of that shit. They just don't want to talk about it. Because a lot of us, including myself, happy that Spence survived him. I never want him not to come home to his daughters. Never. I'm a father myself who's lost a kid, who had to bury my son on a rainy day. I had to bury him when it was pouring down raining outside. I sent my son to his grandparents and I was going to pick him up just so, that was the first grandchild, took him down there, so he can spend some time with the grandparents, never saw him alive again. So why would I sit up here and act like the way they try to portray that I'm a Spence hater? I'm not a Spence hater at all. Hate is basically wishing on somebody. We're talking boxing. We're talking boxing, period. That's what it's about. But when it comes down to what people choose to selectively ignore, I'm going to talk about it, especially in this scenario with Crawford Spence, because outside of the ring, when you have the legends talking about they believe Crawford has more, they believe like they're complimenting his in-ring attire. The way he dresses up for the occasion with the skill sets that he bring into the square. Yes, sir. But also they highly compliment him for the way he's been presenting himself outside of the ring. And he hasn't had situations and dark moments like Errol Spence Jr. People have to look at it that way. You just can't be drunk in public and people forget about that. It's out there for everybody. Do you see me posting that shit all the time? To you, Spencerholics? Do you see me posting that video every time I do a thumbnail about him? No. So you need to damn grab some tissue and stop whining so much. I get tired of, coming up to you and say, hey, guy, I have a fresh box of Kleenex. Come on, I know it's hard for you. Okay, blow. Okay, put that in the trash. You feeling better now? Okay, here goes some coupons. I want you to go up, to Cold Stone or Smoothie King. I just want to get you, just get you something. Huh? Get you a smoothie. Get you a cold one. You know what I'm saying? A cold smoothie. Yeah, cold smoothie. Your eyebrow raised a little bit. You're looking a little funny. No, a cold smoothie or ice cream cone, something to calm your ass down. All right? I'm tired of y'all whining. Because if I would have been posting that video up every time I went live and had something to say about Spence, then that would be considered hating. So Spencerholics, y'all need to digress and fall back and understand I'm talking about boxing. And when it comes to Terrence Crawford's activities outside those ropes, it's a lot of people respect him for that. It's a lot of people respect that man for that shit. It's tough. I know it's tough, bro. But the accident isn't going anywhere. There's no way listening to him talk and how he's different since the accident. You know damn well shit is not all the way 100%. You're going to have to deal with that. Spencer's going to have to deal with it. And to be honest with you, I look at it in a different way than a lot of y'all that's never even did any type of activity that put you in a situation where you've been had a near-death experience or whatever. I'm speaking from a person who has. And I'm just looking at it like Danny Garcia's just talking because him and Spence are friends. It's favoritism there. But Garcia really doesn't have too much to stand on except, yeah, he's been in there with some tough opposition. Yeah, he's about to move up finally to 154. Kudos to him. Because I can't be mad at Danny for not making changes. He's about to go to his third division and attempt to, I'm talking about his third active division, 154, and attempt to do something. He's attempting to do something. I don't know what it is. He's attempting to do something. He's taking on Jose Benavidez. So he's attempting to do something. That's Spence. He's still in one division. And when it comes down to the narratives, you should be acclimated by now that what took place back then is set in stone, man. And it's never going to go away. And the boxers that know the punishment that they take and getting punched in the head and everything else that goes along with it, they are picking Crawford to win not only for what he accomplished in the ring and what his skill set is, and why they compliment his skill set. You know what I'm saying? Why they compliment that shit. Why they say he has more tools and they compliment his skill set, but also what he does outside the ring that in a combined effort gives him the edge inside the square if we ever get that fight between him and Spence. That's why. And people don't want to look, people don't like it. People don't like it, but it is what it is. It's not like he was with Crawford when he wrecked. A lot of these young fighters spoil riding, only taking the elevator. They're extra protected and have to have no belief in their skill set, afraid of taking the stairs. Yeah, they say if the elevator broke, take the stairs, right? They say if the elevator is broke, take the stairs. Ryan Garcia may be one of those fighters that don't even want to come close to running the stairs. Ryan, the elevator's closed today. In order for you to get up top and get that work in, they're waiting. Well, I'm just gonna cancel this and say, what's the time frame on the elevator? Oh, it should be fixed 2 days from now. All right, I'll be back in 2 days, man. Get that elevator fixed. That's Ryan Garcia, dog. Will Queen Capion ever be a world champion? Well, look at it this way. When it comes down to Rolly Romero picking up that WBA, and he say, I'm a world champion. So now Floyd Mayweather has just debunked. He said, man, nobody's worrying about that WBC interim title that you had. Get a real title. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to get you, that respect that you're looking for over here. You know what I'm saying? You have never won a title as Floyd Mayweather. Will he be a world champion? I believe Ron will. He's still young, man. He's 26 years old, right? Still young. I believe he'll be a world champion. It might be Ryan Garcia might become world champion, I would say, in his 30s, about early. I'm just saying, I don't see him beating Gervonta Davis if the fight happened at 135. I don't see it. I'm a that and what I say all the time about fighters. First of all, ring IQ, when it comes to El Chin Checker, his ring IQ far exceeds Ryan Garcia. Period. I don't take for Ryan Garcia to have that IQ of a Gervonta Davis. Just like I said, I know Gervonta Davis is beating Rolly Romero strictly off the separation of boxing IQ. Strictly from the curriculum that he's learned throughout his years in boxing. When it comes down to it's too much of a gap when it comes to Rolly. It's too much of a gap when it comes to Ryan Garcia. Does a lot of shit bad, but yet speed and his famous left hook. Well, guess what? Rocky Marciano had a right hand too, and Rocky Marciano, and he named his right hand Susie Q, and he used to damn deliver that right hand all the time, but he took a beating. He used to take a beating to continue to freaking land that right hand. You know what I'm saying? Like he had a right hand too, bro. He had a special punch, but he used to take a beating, and he was just able to survive the beating to retire undefeated. We can't even compare Ryan Garcia's left hand as anything super special until he fight elite competition. We can't say Luke Campbell was elite competition because when we hear cats like William at Boxing News 24, he fought this person and he hasn't fought any decent competition at that division. Well, we can say the same thing for Ryan Garcia. He hasn't fought that elite competition. Gervonta would be that elite competition. Will he get the fight sign? Will he make the sacrifice? I don't know. I don't know. He might. He might. Senior say, I thought that was funny that Spence can win if he don't get caught. I can beat anyone if I don't get caught. I know. I mean, isn't that any fighter? Isn't that every fighter? You go in there with a heavy puncher. If he don't get caught, wasn't that the same thing Rolly was saying about Tank? He said, you know what? I beat Tank ass for 6 rounds. I know what I did wrong. I just got caught. Look, that was the entire purpose of you taking the fight, knowing that look, for one, El Chin Checker is that dude from B. El Chin Checker is him. All right. He's been him for quite some time. Now, for Rolly Romero, he felt real talk. I understand where Rolly was at with it. Rolly's wired different. So he felt he can go in there and he can match strength with strength. Look, I know people compete in sports. Their mindset is they haven't been tested. They feel, my mindset, man, I feel like I can't be beat. Like their mindset is at a point where they haven't been beaten yet. So they feel like they can't be beat because it's so many other people that they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That they've been dominating. They imposed their will and they just broke. And Rolly felt like his strength, being a black belt in Judoko, he felt that he was that dude. Rolly felt that he was that dude walking in there with Gervonta. He did, yo. Rolly felt that he was him. He felt, Gervonta, man, he's too small, man. He can't, Man, we just had Isak Cruz go the distance. No, man. Isak can't fuck with me. No, man. No. I can do that. His coach was talking to him. You know what I'm saying? He was pretty much saying, man, you got this, man. He went the distance with Isak Cruz, who's a smaller fighter. Rolly, you got this. You're not Isak. You're stronger. Look at your physique. You're strong. But people forget. Listen to me. People forget. When it comes to the brain, all right, there's not an exercise that you can use to add muscle to your brain. Have you ever looked at bodybuilding? The body, you can build up around the brain and you can achieve astronomical sizes that people never thought that your body can get. Like you can look like a freak of nature, but your head, your brain, you don't have something that can build up muscle. And what I'm saying is when you receive that punch on your jawline, your temple, the brain is encased and certain things happen. Like some blessed out the womb and they grow up that their psychological, their headquarters up there, their command center is wired different. The command center is different for everybody. I'm talking about training the brain. You know what I'm saying? Going over remediated shit that you convince yourself that's happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about adding muscle, adding exterior protection to your brain. So when that glove lands on your jawline, it makes you invincible. That's not possible. The brain stem back there It's not an exercise for that. So some people are born in life and they just don't have once they receive something that jolts their brain on impact, everybody's wired different. And for Rolly Romero, he might have went through all those sparring sessions and saying, nobody's fucked with me. Nobody fucked me up. I'm good, man. I'm tough. People been telling Rolly like, man, dude, you're gonna be something special. Like, damn, in these sparring sessions, dude, you ain't nobody fucking with you. Nobody. And then I'm telling you, dog, I'm telling you, Esau Cruz fucked up the game, right? When they say a star was born overnight, yeah, it was born overnight because Esau, what he was able to do, the distance with Gervonta for 12. He convinced everybody that potentially may want to step in the square with Gervonta. He kind of gave them more confidence without even actually telling them, hey man, this is how it was in the ring, this, that, and the other. They watched the fight go down. They said, man, this little motherfucker right here, Pitbull can go the distance with Gervonta. I'm good. That's what Rolly thought. Until all that shoulder strength, biceps, triceps, forearms, all that back work you're doing, it can improve you. It can improve your strength to fuck somebody up. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Strength and conditioning, everything. It can build you up. But if by chance, you're not understanding the physical aspect of life itself when it comes to the anatomy, and being that, the brain is a different structure for everybody. And people like Amir Khan would never have a chin just to stay in there with a hard puncher and without being knocked to the canvas. It's not possible. He's just not wired like that. Anthony Joshua, same way. It may be times that he in there with a certain opponent, he makes it to the distance, and there'd be certain times that he don't. Dillian White, same way. Everybody's wired different. Look how many losses Riddick Bowe have, and look how he talks. Listen to how he talks now. Why? Because everybody is wired different. Look how many losses Riddick Bowe have, and look at his career of the tough fights that he was in, and you say to yourself, I'm gauging off the losses, but yet you can barely understand anything he's saying. Everybody's shit is wired different, man. It's certain fighters out there that they didn't even have an extensive career, and you can't understand anything. I had to learn that when I started interviewing fighters. Anyway, Mark Nash on deck. What's good with it, bro? Andrew Charles on deck. Salute. But that's the way I see that shit, where Danny Garcia is up here bigging up Spence, his friend, and saying he's too strong for Terrence Crawford. And look, let's one of the alcoholics, right? Because I know y'all had a fun time when you seen that interview come out, and you want to attempt to shit on the fan base of Terrence Crawford, right? But let me remind y'all. Let me remind you of how savage Crawford truly is, right? Not so much this right here, right? Let me take that. All right. Not so much this right here, but so much this right here. You know what I'm saying? He is pretty much shit right here. He say, not at all. You right. Because I'm going to be too busy whooping your ass. Then I'm going to laugh when I see your facial expression, when you know you getting your ass whooped and there's nothing you or nobody can do about it. Let me remind you of who he is. Let me remind y'all, because y'all was saying that Crawford pretty much shitted on his fan base. No, that's what Errol did to you all. That's what Errol did to you all. And y'all been hoping and wishing that you can find anything. This is what it is. This is him. This is what it is right here. Whether you like it or not. Y'all not talking about this, huh? Errol say, LOL, no, we saving it for later. I beat your ass, but you know ain't shit going to be funny for you when that bell ring. And Terrence reply was, you a comedian now. I see you must be on that yak. So therefore, if Terrence Crawford can joke around about he must be on that yak, why are you not going and taking a trip to Omaha and having a motherfucking a protest outside his gym of what he said? Because y'all sure enough be dropping through my DMs like you on your way to the mall. Yeah, I'm going ahead and get me some shoes, man. But let's stop over here, man, and see, what WCS is talking about, man. God damn, fuck him, man. God damn. We need to let him know we true Errol Spence fans, man. So how many we got in this group today? 1, 2. Where everybody at, man? They didn't show up. Y'all act like y'all gonna protest. He say must be on that yak. Yickety yak, yak, yak. Stop sitting up here acting like you pussyfied, right? And everything that I say, that I don't even really mention that. I don't even mention yak like that. Maybe a couple of times, but I don't do it on a regular basis. But when you say that Crawford was trying to shit on his fan base because he agreed with an interviewer, right? To say, yeah, I believe on his professional hat. He's putting on his corporate hat. He's being professional. Get it twisted. This is who he is. He is that guy who was getting in fights growing up all the time. He is that guy that was out there counting money and ended up getting shot. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy that's been out there. He has a different type of mad dog associated with his life. And when he chooses to bring that mad dog out from back in the day, he's been destroying people. He's been shutting them down. And everybody is built different and cut from a different cloth. So wherever he learned that with, from his gifted innate ability to be blessed with that toughness, to what he learned in the streets, to being able to develop from his amateurs to professional, 6 TKOs all they want. But also they should understand that none of those fights at welterweight has went to the scorecards, baby. I'm just reminding y'all of what it is. And then, I'll leave y'all with this right here. That's who he is. Don't say he's up here shitting on us. No, Errol Spence shitted on y'all with facts. Hey, don't be mad, man. I hear y'all calling WCS out. Dog, I'm done making rounds over there to channels. I'm done, man. Y'all don't let nobody speak. You don't want to hear the truth. It ain't shit you can debate. Nobody out there. It ain't shit you can debate with me about if it's a formal conversation about something that's not the same retreaded resume shit, dog. I'm tired, man. We're done with that resume shit. Because at the end of the day, you're talking about a guy who's 38-0 and 29 knockouts. I've been saying for the longest of time, we're waiting on Spence to be lucky number 7 at welterweight. Did I not say that? Y'all grasping, man. Y'all grasping. What they say, y'all grasping for straws? Y'all grasping for some shit, bro. Like, all he did was professional hat and say, well, I think he's man. He get the job done, make adjustments and finish the job. But let's not forget who he truly is. He's that dude. He's that dude, man. He's this dude right here. For any one of y'all who forgot and don't want to bring it up, I will. Because I don't remember anybody putting out a video where y'all and you a comedian now. I see you must be on that yak. I didn't see any one of y'all. All the cats that was up here saying, well, he better show up to that Yadinas Ugas and Errol Spence fight. He better be here because he got to stand on all that respect, on that disrespect he had. He got to stand on that. What? He didn't show up because it's not worth it for him to show up. But what we can say is if you read this right here, he's that guy. He was talking shit to y'all can't redirect shit. You know what I'm saying, Spencer Holics? You can't redirect shit when somebody is talking about the um the publicity that's out here is public record that he did to himself. You can't deflect. It's no deflection. That's why it makes no sense to debate anything. Because y'all are trying to be nice because y'all kissing his ass. That's all that is. The Spencer Holics is we ain't kissing Crawford's ass over here. He's not that dude. He don't have a fan base to kiss his ass. We just telling you what we think. But for y'all are sit there and go hell in high water and kiss that man ass. And so much to the point where y'all don't understand, ass kissing doesn't have to be something directly and basically supporting something Errol Spence said. It can be something like we seen just with Terrence Crawford, uh, basically giving his reply to an interviewer who was dead on. Yeah, when you're saying with Errol Spence, yeah. Let me go back to it. Hold up. Let me go back to it. Hold up. Not that.
It's for all the marbles. It's for undisputed. So this is a big moment for not only myself but for Errol Spence Jr. as well to make history in his own right.
Last time we saw you, you had a great performance against Sean Porter. Last time we saw Errol, he had a great performance against Dennis Ugas. What did you think of that performance of his?
Oh, he did great. I thought he made the adjustments that he had to make to get the job done, and he won in tremendous fashion. And
he made adjustments to get the job done. He won in tremendous fashion. So while the Spencer Holics up here, once again, inebriated and saying that the portion that they wanted to extract from this interview was shitting on his fans and debunking his fans. How? You are desperately seeking something. You took an interview that Crawford was being professional. He had his corporate hat on. He's trying to do good and make this fight happen. You know what I'm saying? Even in this same interview, he did not know that the fight was going to happen or not. He couldn't give you that. He didn't say anything like, man, I'm done. I'm over. I'm not thinking about that fight. No, he put on his corporate hat and he was professional because it was Hall of Fame weekend. And unfortunately, not everybody received that invite.
congratulations to him.
What was that? He said, congratulations to him. How often do you hear the Spencer Holics congratulating Crawford? When Crawford defeated not Udenis Ugas, but when Crawford, he should have Udenis Ugas on his resume though. When Crawford defeated Sean Porter, did you hear the Spencer Holics on their head congratulating, the pound for pound best? No, you didn't. You didn't hear none of that. You didn't hear a peep.
Tell me if you agree with this assessment.
Now, let me line this up because this shit right here is the firing line. Ready on the left, ready on the right. You may commence firing when your target appears.
You guys are obviously both elite fighters. He seems more like a guy who comes in with his plan A, and that's his plan, and that's the way he fights.
This dude right here, he is the real reason. He is the real reason why the Spencer Holics are absolutely inflamed. They're infuriated, dog. This guy right here is to blame. God damn it. Blame him. Don't sit up here and try to shit on Terrence Crawford fan base. This dude right here is to blame. He summed it up in a goddamn nutshell.
Or like a guy who comes in with his plan A, and that's his plan, and that's the way he fights, whereas you are more versatile and can shift plans and make adjustments. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yes, sir. Let me answer that. Okay. I would say that's extremely accurate. And first of all, I need to get your contact after this so I can call the people that hired you and pretty much, what I'm saying, tell them how you did an outstanding job doing this interview. You know what I'm saying? And the way you prefaced that question was absolutely summed up amazingly. And yes, that's an accurate assessment. But of course, Terrence Crawford was the one he was speaking to. So let's get Terrence Crawford response.
Well, I think he make adjustments as well. You know, when one thing don't work, he, you know, adjust and adjust and adjust and don't work. He, you know, adjust and make, you know, matters into his own, take matters into his own hands and make the right moves at the right time to get the job done. Like my
See, look, Crawford. Hey, Crawford, salute to you for just putting the band-aids together, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I compliment Crawford for putting on his corporate hat, just putting the band-aids together and making it seem professional. It's hilarious, man. You know what I'm saying? The man was being professional. It was Hall of Fame week. He was being professional. He didn't want to cause an uproar because he know how sensitive the Spencer Hawleys are. He there sitting and those ice cubes was goddamn jingling and shit like a cup of change. He knew that. He knows what type of fan base he's dealing with. He knew that they was going to take what he said in response to that guy's question and shit on his fan base. And that's exactly what they did. They attempted to shit on Terrence Crawford fan base instead of coming on here and saying, you know what? Salute to Terrence Crawford. I appreciate you, brother, for being genuine and honest and, you know what I'm saying, showing some love. What they did was further confirm that they are the dislikers when it comes to this Crawford and Spence divide. They're the dislikers, bro. These guys dislike damn near everything that has to do with Terrence Crawford. When they give a compliment, you can guarantee these individuals are going to come with 5, 6, 7 dislikes. They should have just praised the man and gave him his props and said, man, we appreciate you for being professional on the Hall of Fame weekend and saying that make adjustments and everything. No, what they do, they extract that little clip and then they come out here and attempt to devalue who we are. We brush that shit off, bro, because it don't make sense. All of you all are saying the same shit. That's what sheep do, right? Sheep sound the same. That's what y'all did. Y'all extracted something that he said good about your favorite fighter, but yet you came up out of there, didn't praise him, didn't give him anything. And then you not only used it to berate him, but you pretty much said, I'm going to take this and try to, shit on your fan base with negativity. That's what I'm going to do. Terrence Crawford, it's what you call indirectly, using somebody to get to somebody else. So basically they used Terrence Crawford words to attempt to get to his fan base. That's all that was. They didn't give a damn about his compliment towards Errol Spence. They didn't care. They didn't care that he said, yeah, he make adjustments. He didn't agree with the guy. The guy one that y'all mad at because he prefaced the question, agree with this assessment. Tell me if you agree with this assessment or not. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong, people? Like, he should be mad at the interviewer who asked the question initially. Not taking Crawford, of course, who's the bigger name out of him and Spence conversation, and take his response for which he complimented Errol Spence. He complimented him. And they extract the information to basically become belligerent and denigrate his fan base. The most loyal fan bases in the sport of boxing. They attempted to exclude us in the media and act like we're that weak-minded that we're going to get mad at Terrence Crawford for saying that Errol Spence make adjustments. It doesn't work that way. It's not that easy, there, Spencerholics. I'm just saying it's not that easy, bro. Shout out to my guy, Shaw News, the Sauce Experience, aka Showtime in the building. Salute, man. Check my guy out. Sub to him. You know what I'm saying? He been in the gym working. Shout out to Team Jahad Tucker, man. You already know what it is. You know, show some love, man. Show some love. BIG on deck. Arrow C. Look, BIG. I try so much not to use those type of labels. I'm not saying. Shout out to DBMH. I'm not saying I can't, but I think Spencerholics, you know what I'm saying, which was derived by me. I don't care who out there trying to take credit for that shit, but the Spencerholics, a lot of shit that they say I really can't take serious because I grew up in the South, bro. I always used to run into family members that was drunk all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I just took it for what it is, man. It's nice, you know, happy conversation. But you always know that they're not in their mind, their thought process. So I always take it for that. Like, you know, you had them relatives every time you see them, they high. That's what I look at it when it comes to the Spencerholics, man. Because listen, if you got a group of cats that's in there, I don't know if y'all remember this, but you remember them group of cats that, you know, you can walk up on, because I wasn't none of that back in the day when I was growing up, right? But you either go up there and you see them smoking off the same blunt, right? They hitting the same blunt. Everybody, boom, boom, hitting the same shit. I'm saying, damn. I used to look at that shit like, damn, them motherfuckers. Blunt. And then, you know, somebody went through the package though. They didn't have no red cups. Them dudes was drinking out the same bottle. They was drinking out the same bottle, dog. Real talk. They used to share the same bottle. And that's what I see when I hear this, when I see this shit and hear these lives of what Terrence Crawford said at the Hall of Fame week. They're all saying the same thing. Terrence Crawford fans bunked. Terrence Crawford destroys his fan base. Destroys us? No. Stop the madness. Stop the madness, dog. He didn't destroy anything. He didn't destroy anything. All he did was somewhat placate the Spence fans, right? Because it was needed. Because, you know, hearing that word facts, it destroyed them. That's what destroyed them. When Spence responded with facts, dog, oh my God, they was broken. They was in the private chats. Oh my God, what do we do? Our idol leader, our mentor. It seems like, do anyone agree that he shitted on us? Did you think he shitted on us? I mean, come on, man. Do you think that was the case? Now this video comes out and they want to say Crawford destroyed his fan base and what their way of thinking. Damn, you know what I found out? I say you actually listening. We believe that Spence is one dimensional. You actually been listening. They actually been listening like we knew you were. You know, yo, you get point. When y'all continue to do this boxing media shit is open season for all of you cats that sit up and get in a group, extract the same talking point, and create your thumbnails and put out your content. Don't be mad at me. Don't say I'm a Spence hater. I'm not a Spence hater. I'm just putting out content like y'all. Have it both ways. You can't talk shit about Crawford and then when it comes to Spence, oh, it's hating. So that's basically, and you doing the same thing that you criticizing me for. You think I'm hating, but yet you putting out negative content about Crawford when he above Spence on the pound for pound list. He has more experience. He's 38-0. He has 29 knockouts. What is Spence's record right now? Comparable to Terrence Crawford knockouts, comparing to, you know, Errol Spence's record. It's going to come down to it, y'all. It's going to come down to it, no matter how you look at it. It's going to come down to it that you identify that you know you fucked up. When you took that pettiness out of his interview, you got mad at the guy who asked the question, and you took that damn shit, distracted it, and tried to shit on his fans, you know you fucked up. Because that only shows that you're desperately trying to find Terrence Crawford, which you can't do, and his fan base, which you can't do. But for y'all, you totally get it. For the Spencerholics, they totally get it. You know why you totally get it? Because you're not entirely confident with him coming off these 2 fights that he still can go in there and beat Terrence Bud Crawford. That's facts. You know damn well in your heart of hearts, you're not totally confident that when he steps in there and you know it's going to be a war, that he is that person deep down inside, Errol Spence, after that accident, he can beat Terrence Crawford. You're not sure. Y'all not sure, bro. That's just the way it is. Stop making this into a petty, like it's only a war of words. It's only social media exchanges. Y'all have to be mature about this shit. If you're gonna continue to put out negative information about, Terrence Crawford, vice what you see out there that's lined up on every pound for pound list and what he's been able to accomplish in his career. If you continue to line it up as if it don't mean anything, okay, cool. Don't sit up here and act like you're innocent. That's all I'm saying. Don't pretend anymore, bro. Y'all took a little piece of information, man. Let me replay the shit because you should be mad at the guy who asked the question. Congratulations to him.
Tell me if you agree with this assessment that you guys are obviously both elite fighters. He seems like a guy who comes in with his plan A, and that's his plan, and that's the way he fights.
His plan A, and that's the way he fights. His plan A, and that's the way he fights. And you're mad at Terrence Crawford for that interviewer right there. He comes in with his plan A, and that's the way he fights. Crawford didn't say that. How did Crawford shit on his fan base when he was asked a question about his compeer that competes Hurt Business like he does? How does he respond when that guy framed the question the way he did and he sent it? You should be mad at him.
Whereas you are more versatile and can shift plans and make adjustments. Would you say that that's accurate?
You are more versatile. He complimented Terrence Crawford as being the more versatile fighter. And you're mad and tried to take information from what Crawford said in response. He was complimenting Errol Spence. He's showing you all that he can put on his professional cap. He has no problem with it. He'll tell the public what they want to hear. I believe he was being genuine about his compeer, though. Real talk. I believe Crawford as a fighter, he was complimenting Errol Spence as another fighter, an elite fighter. Both of these guys are elite fighters, right? And he was basically putting it out there as a fighter. And his assessment, he believes that Errol Spence make adjustments to get the job done because he's undefeated. He's undefeated. He's been in there with some championship fights that he made the adjustments to get the victory. How simple is that? It doesn't mean he makes the adjustment and he starts using his foot movement. He becomes mobile. You know what I'm saying? He gets on his toes. He gets on his toes and start popping the jab off and using that Larry Holmes type foot movement, that Luis Ortiz movement, that Bam Rodriguez movement, that Shakur Stevenson movement. He's not talking about that versatility, switching stances. He's a southpaw, thank God. Because goddamn it, if Errol Spence was not a southpaw and he was orthodox, oh my God, they would lose their freaking mind. Because they believe him being a southpaw, Errol Spence being a southpaw, man, it's just another crown of glory that they can continue to talk about. Because now the situation is, oh man, Bud Crawford, he don't do anything when he switch stances, my friend. He doesn't do it, friend. He just switched stances for fun. So basically, he is a southpaw at the end of the day. And we all know who's the better southpaw. It's going to be Errol Spence Jr., not Bud Crawford, because he's sometimey. He's not a full-time dedicated southpaw striker. So, my friend, when they do square up, my friend, we're going to see who's the better southpaw. That's what they try to sell to y'all. Because if Errol or and Bud Crawford switched to southpaw, see, this man, dog. This is what I'm talking about, dog. See, he don't have enough confidence to fight orthodox with Errol Spence Jr. for 12 rounds. He always got to switch to southpaw, dog. I don't like that bullshit, man. F him, dog. Man, seriously, here we go again with that switch stance bullshit. I'm serious, dog. I'm serious, man. Y'all know I'm not bullshit, man. Come on, man. I'm not bullshit with this shit. I'm glad. I think a little minor sprinkles of details like this. If Errol Spence was an orthodox fighter, dog, they would be on here making thumbnails. Terrence Crawford, he ain't confidence to fight Errol Spence in orthodox the whole fight. He know he get his ass beat because one of the best orthodox fighters on the planet right now is Errol Spence Jr. Y'all know it. We know it. And everybody else know it. But look, that's not the case. The glorification is spoken on highly that he's a southpaw. Now, being he's a southpaw, Terrence Crawford, they're trying to say that he's not a switch hitter, but they'll give Jaron Ennis, Bruce Ennis, all the credit in the world. And there's no knock on Jaron Ennis, but Terrence Crawford has shown he can switch stances too, right? Not until the scope had started to zoom in on the potential clash between him and Errol Spence that they start taking away. They start taking away when he starts to fight up the fight in orthodox stance. You know why? Because they're trying to say he's not really utilizing that stance anyway to do any effective damage. He's just collecting data, y'all. Look, Bud Crawford just collecting data when he does that. Isn't that the whole process of boxing? To collect data, to make adjustments. One thing we complimented Terrence Crawford about is that when he collects data, he gets it down. He gets it in. He executes. He processes and he executes. He makes the adjustments and he executes. That's been proven. That's been proven. Real talk. That's been proven. But they try to take away his orthodox and say he's really a southpaw fighter. But when it comes to him fighting southpaw against Errol Spence, he has no chance. He has no chance. That's what they say. He has no chance, man. Danny Garcia come on here with some bullshit to my, Errol Spence is just too strong for Terrence Crawford. He don't believe that. And then I would question, come on, DSG. You better than that, DSG, man. Come on, man. You have a bromance. He beat you into a bromance. He beat you up so bad last time that you want to sit up here and say, my Long Island, man, my guy, man. I got to look out for my guy, man. He's around my way. So you got two people that's saying that Errol Spence from the same hood. You got the Charlos saying, we from the same hood. And then you got DSG sitting up here favoring Errol Spence because he's from Long Island. I mean, which one is it going to be? When y'all going to start recognizing this man is the best welterweight in the game? How can you be top pound for pound that supersedes a lot, and then you say, I'm going to take different criteria to say that Errol Spence is the best welterweight because of his 3 titles, but yet on the pound for pound list, Crawford sits here than Errol Spence Jr. Hey, man, to each his own. It's all good, bro. It's all good because when it boils down to it, the man complimented. He complimented Errol Spence just like this.
Well, I think he make adjustments as well. When one thing don't work, he you know, adjust and make, you know, matters take matters into his own hands. And
Kudos to the Terrence Crawford being professional. He takes matters into his own hand. Kudos to Terrence Crawford for articulating that so eloquently and zipping it up with this.
make the right moves at the right time, get the job done.
That's pretty much where I'm at with it. Like myself. So if you to the Spencerholics talk about this shit, their whole title is to discredit his fan base or what he said about in response to the guy who asked the question, who asked about an assessment, right? So within that assessment, Crawford gave his response and he also zipped it up with like myself. Do you hear him talking about? Do you hear the Spencerholics talking about like myself? Because they don't care, bro. They don't zipping it up themselves and saying, you know what, man, much respect to Crawford for basically acknowledging what Spence does in the ring. You know what I'm saying, to get the job done, and also he himself, he collects data and makes adjustments to get the job done. It's two areas where you can get compliments. One for Terrence Crawford saying what he said in response. You know what I'm saying? You compliment him two ways. He responded respectfully on the question that was really a open-ended leading question. Real talk. For those of you that went to college for English, he asked a leading question. He asked a leading question. The question was presented to persuade the listeners. He said, "Do you agree with this assessment?" And he basically put it out there. And he basically provided to Terrence Crawford the way he felt. So him being the guy that's asked, he threw it out there. He presented the way he felt. So it's up to the listener to either concur or not. And Terrence Crawford did not. He didn't concur. He said, "No, I feel that he does make adjustments, this, that, and done." Knockout Boxing 86 TV on deck. What's good with it? The boxing section TBS. What's good with it? He said, "I'm a young confident we can add however many push-ups to this bet we already have, bro. Arrow's gonna walk through Bud. I don't think we have any like push-ups to this bet. I don't think. Look, to be honest with you, Knockout, Terrence Crawford deserves more than push-ups because he's been doing all the heavy lifting in his career. He's 38-0, 29 knockouts. We need more than push-ups, okay? We need more than push-ups. This is a high stakes fight, that Knockout. You understand that? You understand that? What value is push-ups? We need more. It needs to be more added to this, man. We need more added to this other than push-ups. No, we're not in boot camp anymore. We way past that. We need something more than push-ups, bro. For real. We need something more than push-ups. And see, look, Knockout, he's a Spence supporter. I don't know if he's a Spence supporter. He said Crawford just debunked on fan base narrative. I know. I seen that on the title. I know. You one of the people that said he debunked, but he didn't debunk anything. He didn't debunk anything. He was playing nice. He was being professional. But let me put on my Crawford and let me be professional. Eat your comment. Crawford just debunked his own fan base narrative. Spence only fights one way. But I wouldn't say he shitted on his fan base. He just shitted on that narrative. I can coming from. But either way it goes, that entire narrative that you just put out there, that entire insertion, in my opinion, does not make sense. He didn't debunk anything. You know why he didn't debunk anything? Because the guy who asked the question felt the same way. He felt the same way, dog. Look, he felt the way many people have felt. He felt the same way many legends has felt. He put it out there. He put the shit out there, Knockout. He put it out there. Why aren't y'all making lives about him? Why aren't y'all making lives about the guy who asked the question? He didn't debunk anything. All Terrence Crawford did was play nice. He's on deck at the Hall of Fame, where he's going to have residence sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? First ballot Hall of Famer. So, he was out there to play nice, do his PR work. You know what I'm saying? Be professional. But yet, the Spencerholics, they took it upon themselves to just come up and derive their own direction on where they thought he was going with that response. He was just being professional, man. The guy asked a leading question, and Terrence, being as astute as he is, he collected the data, and then he gave his counter. His counter was opposite of what the interviewer asked. And that, my friends, should be congratulated. He didn't concur, so y'all can sit up here, oh, Crawford a hater. He agreed with the interviewer who asked the leading question, just like WCS said. So WCS understood what was going on. Because look, the fix was in, y'all. The fix was in. The guy asked a leading question, and Terrence Crawford agreed. No, he proved that he thinks for himself, and he proved that he gave a genuine answer as a professional boxer, and to his compeer, that he said he make adjustments to get the job done. But, Knockout, I didn't hear that y'all zip it up at the end like I do. If you're going to talk about him debunking the narrative, you need to also add into that what Crawford said at the end of that. That need to be talked about too.
Get the job done like myself.
Like myself, like I do, like we know. That need to be talked about too. Like myself. Don't Crawford get the job done? Hasn't it been said by many, even the legends, that the Spencerholics are mad at? That Crawford's more versatile fighter? Look, at the end of the day, if this fight is in November, right? If this fight is in November, even though we don't have a DATE, we will find out. We will find out all of this. It will play out. We will find out everything. Because like I say about the Spencerholics, and I say at the Knockout, deep down in their heart of hearts, they're not sure that Errol Spence is 100%. They're not. Y'all are not sure, man. Y'all are not sure. You know it's still some things that you see from the way he was before to the way he is after, and the mannerisms and behavior isn't mirroring up. The appearance, all that. It's not mirroring up, bro. But it's not personal. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. What's good with it? Jay Smith, salute. Lee, one thing they fail to realize is what makes Bud SP stance, Southpaw stance different in his power hand is right. That's going to play a major factor. Listen, man, I agree with that, but like I said before, Juice, when it comes down to the way Terrence Crawford switches over to Southpaw, they feel like when he was in Orthodox, he didn't really truly have a purpose. It's always a purpose, in my opinion, to the madness for which he presents in the ring. If he starts off in Southpaw, it's a reason why he feels that he should just start off in Southpaw and not Orthodox. If he start off in Orthodox, it's a reason. But the way they make it seem like is that he just start off in Orthodox just for general purpose. You know what I'm saying? Just to collect data from his opposition. You know what I'm saying? Just to play around, dog. Let me see if the swing set is a little squeaky today. Let me see. Oh, wow. They put some oil on this. Oh man, I don't hear any squeaking no more. Let me see if the sliding board just a little bit more slippery than it was last week. Oh wow, they came out here and cleaned it off. I like it. I like that. Wow, they put some more, sawdust down here. I like this shit. They actually think he just go around and just try to figure little shit out, starting out for orthodox like a kid in a damn playground, dog. That's not it. He's collecting data to get the results. Like he said, like myself. I make adjustments like myself, dog. But knockout, I need something with more substance. I need something with more value to it, bro. This is the biggest fight in boxing, man. We need something that has more value to it, man. I can't look, if I was to take push-ups to a pawn shop and say, hey, I just want to, trade this in for something. I can't do nothing for you because push-ups that they don't have any value to them here. I need something that has some value. Okay, WCS, come back a little bit later when you have something of value. You know what I'm saying? But that was oh, shit. There was the push-ups that I got from knockout though from the fight. I know, but it has no value here. You understand that, right? You understand where I'm coming from. I have to make money off this too, and I just can't make money off his push-ups. Damn. All right, cool. All right, I got it. No, we need that. Bulletin for red material for Bud, and it's gonna add fuel to the fire. He will be motivated. Yeah, they definitely downplaying his calculations, and they're gonna pay for it. Hey man, you know how it is, man. You know how it is, and it is what it is when it comes down to analytics and the way I deliver my verbalytics. You know what I'm saying? They can say what they want. Like I said before, those of you in the DMs are trying to get me to debate, bro. I go to the playground when I feel like it, and most of the time, most of the time it's not for me. It's just to watch on who's on the playground. It's not for me. When I go to the playground, I'm looking to see who's on the playground. That's all. When I go ahead and listen to some of these freaking lives and what they're talking about, especially when Terrence Crawford speaks, it only proves once again that his words are powerful and they're trying to grasp at any little thing that Crawford says. You know why? Because without him, there ain't no conversation about Spence. Ask any one of these Spencerholics, can they have a conversation about the welterweight division and just talk strictly about their favorite fighter? And it's impossible. It's impossible for them to have a conversation of all the good things that Terrence Crawford does at the welterweight. Errol Spence do at the welterweight division without mentioning Terrence Crawford. They can't keep this man's name out their mouth. They cannot talk about the welterweight division and just talk about their favorite fighter. They're going to bring up Bud Crawford's fan base is this, that, and the other. Man, the same stuff all the time. They can't say anything else but bring up Bud's name. And you know what? That's a problem. That's a problem. And I hope I'm still here. I'm trying to get in the lab and trying to come up with some type of ingredient. I'm trying to put together a recipe that can eliminate this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put any sleep agents in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. I want them to be coherent so they can listen to, what I'm saying. I don't want to put any type of sleep aid in there and nothing like that. I want them to be, conscious so they can absorb what I'm talking about. But to let you know, real talk, y'all was absolutely wrong about trying to turn this around on this fan base, whether it was, debunking the narrative. But I heard people try to say it's debunking and destroying and discrediting his fan base on what we think, right? But truth be told, obviously you ain't listen closely. The guy who asked the question said the exact same thing that we say. The interviewer who asked the question reiterated the same exact sentiment in his question. And Terrence Crawford, once again, thought for himself, gave the answer, and zipped it up with like myself. And that wasn't good enough. Y'all had to take the information, bring it out on social media, go through the YTC, spreading all that dislike once again. And you only prove that without Terrence Crawford mentioning anything about Errol Spence or even putting himself into the equation, the conversation ain't fun. I get it, man. The conversation ain't fun. You know, y'all can't just have a welterweight conversation without bringing up Bud Crawford. I get it, man. Real talk. If there's anybody out here in this shit, get it. I get this shit. For real. I get this shit. I get it, man. I get that it's a boring, ennui, banal type of damn dialogue that y'all have, and y'all sit up here. Oh, we don't supposed to mention Bud today. Oh my God. Let me get my push-ups. 3, 4, 5. Can I get up now? I apologize. Okay, get up. Don't mention Bud's name again. This is a no Bud day, dog. This is a no Bud conversation. Stop it. Stop it. We are talking about the welterweight division without mentioning Bud Crawford, okay? We're going to talk about our favorite mentor, idol, Errol Spence Jr., and we're not going to mention shit about Bud. Can we do it? We already had 3 of y'all fuck up already. Can we do it? Yes, sir. So, with this fight coming up, what do y'all think? You know what I'm saying? And you think the fight's going to be in November? You think it's going to be a date? What do you think? Well, you know, when it comes to Bud fans, see, man, get push-ups. I told you this is a no Bud day. Why y'all motherfuckers keep on bitching Bud, dog? Are y'all crazy? This is a non-Bud conversation for the welterweight. They asked a simple question. You think the fight day's gonna be in November? You think? Well, you know, when I heard the Bud Crawford fan, man, god damn, man, you know, fuck it, man. We're not doing this no more. Fuck it. Y'all don't have no. It's only 5 of us. Look, it's only 5 of us in this name private chat, and 3 of y'all doing push-ups already. Stop it, man. I'm done with this. I'm done. Man, I'll be back on later, man. Y'all